I think one of the most painful things about being a female leader, a lot of people come up with stories as to how you got there.
If I happen to be a manager or be promoted, there will be talks like, oh,
vanhu va ka hina a va tolovelangi ku va va na hosi ya xisati yi nga mhaka leyi nga ta na timhaka ta apartheid.
Never and never again shall it be.
Freedom is not free.
Mina ngiyaqala ngabantu abamnyama. You know, I'm all about pushing black consciousness. Hence, even my name for my brand is Black Rose. You know, I've got a Black Rose empire that I push for young black women in the art sector.
I'm an actress, a theater director, and I sing.
I'm an artist, an arts manager, a cultural activist, and director of Wits Theatre.
I think one of the most painful things about being a female leader or being in a position as umdu omfazi that's not familiar is the fact that a lot of people come up with stories as to how you got there.
I am currently director and owner of a company called Kupani Exploration. We are a surface exploration drilling company and we service the mining industry. And I am also chairperson of Women in Mining South Africa.
Mina hosi N'wamitwa wa vumbirhi eka tiko ra ka Valoyi la ka N'wamitwa i tiko lerikulu na tindhuna to tala to ringana 32. Vanhu va ka hina a va tolovelangi ku va va na hosi ya xisati yi nga mhaka leyi nga ta na timhaka ta apartheid. Va vulavula ku wansati a nga fanelangi ku va a va hosi hikuva vukosi byi famba hi layini ya xinuna timhaka ta xinuna ntsena. Leya mina there were so many challenges. When my father died, my uncle took over for more than 40 years. Loko se a fana transfera ka mina a swi nga ha koteki. When he died, the son said, no, I have to succeed my father. And yet, loyi a ri hosi a ri papa wa mina va ku i Fofoza N'wamitwa. I had to fight for more than 8 years because I'm a woman. Here High Court, here Court of Appeal, here Constitutional Court, and then the court ruled in my favor.
I grew up in Chatsworth and I'm part of the Indian community. I'm Indian by birth. From a religious point of view, supposedly Indian women are supposed to be revered and respected, but the reality is that they're submissive, they're expected to obey first their fathers, then their husbands, then their sons.
Apartheid created a system yabelungu. So a hierarchy yalapa has always been indoda yomlungu, emva koko umfazi womlungu, and then ibe ngutata womuntu omnyama, and then ibe sithi ke abafazi.
I grew up in a communist black consciousness home. My first kind of march was when I was 12 years old. But seeing the status of women around me, I mean, Friday night was, you know, when men got drunk and chased their wives down the road with a bush knife. And I was determined never to be that woman.
loko uri wansati, you are triple discriminated. Black woman, you are a woman, and class. So me anuwela kwalaya ka vanhu va xisati. Yako nge pfuka u ve hosi wena, papa wena u velekeriwe vukosi, mara hikuva i ri wansati, xitulu lexiwani a xi ku fanelanga. So hikuva mina ni ve palamende for malembe yo ringana 22. Loko endliwa constitution at Kempton Park, a ni ri koho. So a ni swi tiva leswaku with the new dispensation, mina ni ri wansati na qualify ku va ni va teka xitulu xa tatana wa mehe without even being apologetic.
In many ways, my education and my later activism, including the very first Women's Arts Festival, was a direct reaction and attempt to change the status of women.
Tina as abantu bamnyama izinto zoba zi-theatre directors asizazi. You know, abantu bekodishara ne-nurse, but into eyi-theatre director ekhaya thina besingayazi. So ndiyaqala mna, and I think ndiqala not only as a woman but as umuntu omnyama.
You know, the ANC likes to talk about itself as having brought freedom to the country. The ANC didn't bring freedom to the country. Ordinary black South Africans brought freedom to this country.
1914, vamhani van'wana le nsungeni wa malwandle a ku ri ku sungula va kota ku vota, just to make a cross. And then la South Africa, vamhani va lwile, that's why hi ri na siku leri ra 9th of August. Hi tsundzuka vamhani vo fana va Lillian Ngoyi, vo fana va Winnie Mandela, vo fana mani va ku tala lavaya. Vamhani vo fane hi ya mahlweni hi lwela ku ntshunxeka ka hina. A hi fane hi tlhela ndzhaku ku lwa ka hina, it means we must hold hands together, support one another. Hi ta fika la hi fikaku kona.
I was part of the process around arts and culture, so feeding into the notion of what will post-1994 South Africa look like. I think women were marginalized in the CODESA process, but during the struggle itself, you know, women were not prominent. Apart from the Fatima Mirs and the Amina Kachalias and, you know, those kind of women, the world pays a lot of lip service to women and their role in revolutionary movements. When you think about Che Guevara, where are the women there? Who tells that story?
I think being a woman who is in a position of influence and power to a certain extent it's difficult, but it also depends on the people around you. So in terms of the immediate team that I work with and the people at Sunday Times, I mean, a lot of Sunday Times editors are women, and a lot of Sunday Times editors are black, and that makes things easier because it's you prove yourself fine, but you know there's a difference between when you have to prove yourself to white people. It's a lot harder, simply because there are people who think that you got the job just because you're black, that you're there to tick a box, you're black and you're female. And automatically, it happens in many industries, when you do get a promotion, people think that you don't deserve it. Or there's certain people who think that you don't deserve it and who will just try and undermine you.
I think history plays out by those who write it. And whether it was pre-1994 when, you know, blacks were put into kind of private little Bantustans to protect themselves and protect their culture, well, that was the nationalist spiel on it. The truth is that with men, and post 1994, they want to talk about, celebrate women. In fact, you know, Women's Day now nauseates me, because I'm tired of being told how wonderful I am.
So if you have a black editor or a black leader who fails or messes up, it makes it difficult for another black person to get the same position because you are representative of your race, even if you don't have to be, but that's how you're looked at. And I am quite aware of it. I'm quite aware of the pressure and the responsibility that I have, having this position that I have.
We still have a bit of struggles that we are fighting, that women back then were still fighting, like Abo Mama Bit, you know, still having to prove yourself in an industry. It's ridiculous that we still have to sit here and discuss, are we free in what we want to do as women? Because I shouldn't be judged because I'm a woman. I can't do inteng fun kuyenza, you know?
So for me, construction, kusunguleni actually angarisho. Akoba show munulakba different because some wanted to be doctors, some wanted to be lawyers, some wanted to be medical technologists. But for me, I think under interest yati building structures. I don't think nkulena bantu laba mostly labanga industrially. Mara akoba actually she very loko ni rongwana nkankula antwa nirna interest kasho.
Freedom is not free. Freedom is not free.
Patriarchy is in many folds, even our own custom and culture. Our culture, yilanguta wanuna ariyena fane ku decide hinkwaswo, even at home. Aunge swi ku ti xavela movha wena nuna nga ti ni ya xava a tlha ku ni xava vito ra mehe wena wansati u nge xavi movha loko munhu a kuma n'wana u tekiwile ne kuma n'wana loko ku velekiwa n'wana va ku i n'wana wa yini va ku is a baby girl va ku oh loko ku se baby boy u tirhile wena more especially ka royalty because va hlekete ku fane kuma n'wana wa mfana loyi a nga ta teka nhonga ya papa wa yena a yisa mahlweni kasi on the other side it was just because of apartheid system which undermined the rights of women.
We were socialized to say, khona le mesebetsi e leng for basadi, khona le mesebetsi e leng for banna. And because of that, you find you do have an imbalance. You know, there are not many women in the mining industry.
Construction companies to hlayanyana la ninga tikuma ni ri ka positions to hambana to fana na vo construction technician, site quantity surveyor. Mara to a certain extent, I just felt like mainly in the construction industry, until we're not capable to execute some of the tasks.
Being a black female-owned drilling company in the country is an unknown. Once you start knocking on any mining company's door, the fact that when you come in, you look like me, it's like you don't get work just because you're a pretty face.
Chance to prove yes, although it's a men's world, Mara, we still can do exactly what the guys are doing on site.
Patriarchy is everywhere. It's everywhere. It can be even in the most liberal, woke, enlightened spaces. And nobody's going to give us equality as women, so we have to take it and force it down people's throats. I am of the school of thought that you have to force it down people's throats. And you will know that just because I'm a woman, it doesn't mean Loro, you can do whatever you want. Like, I'm not a playground.
Loko vana tihomu kaya papa alova sesa nge voni nchumu ti ta kuma hi buti wa kona nuna wa wena alova i ri wansati a wu nga kumi nchumu ti ta kuma hi makwavo wa nuna wa wena hikuva a nga yini a nga wanuna mara sweswi ha khensa hikuva swi antswanyana vamanana va ya va thunxeka na vona va ti vona leswaku they play a role in this democratic dispensation.
I'm tired of being told about women's accomplishments. It's 0.001% of the population. Until every woman is free, until every woman has a right to apply her trade, to share her skills, to contribute, to have control over her life and her finances and her body, none of us are free.
I'm a temporarily, I'd like to think, former Rhodes student. I was excluded in 2017, November, for allegedly kidnapping, assaulting, defaming, and being insubordinate during the RE references protests, rape culture protests that broke out in 2016. I am currently based in Soweto at home, and I'm unemployed, and I'm still an activist.
I think sexism is ingrained in the culture. And with the culture of violence that we inherited from being, I think, a country so fractured and so hurt and traumatic that women become prey, you know. They're soft targets for everyone's anger, especially the anger of men.
We've started Chapter 2 and 2 on our campus with just a poster campaign. We put up posters on our campus which highlighted the kind of, the types of, I guess, delays and disappointments students, survivors would encounter upon wanting to report their crimes, right, or their cases at the university. Then the posters were taken down by the university's management. They came, they looked at the posters, the vice-chancellor and his colleagues. Well, we heard when we asked the securities that it was for investigation. I don't know what they were going to do with investigating posters when they don't come to the people initially who are heading the campaign.
You know, 22 years down the line, I mean, every 11 seconds a woman is raped. A woman is more likely to be killed by somebody she knows, and that's frightening. You know, I myself have been a victim of rape, and almost every other woman I know has been.
Amidst that conversation of, you know, rape culture being brought up on our campus, a list was then dropped on social media. This list was entitled RE reference list, 11 names of men, and at the bottom, et al. Within 30 minutes, Rhodes, maybe 800 to 1,000 students, mostly women, that night mobilized themselves. So they confront so the protest then became something of breaking of silence. So you know, enough is enough now. What we want is the university to take us seriously. Now that we're at the streets as women, take us seriously. We want these men to be prosecuted. Actually, as the cops must come, they must do what they need to do. But yeah, because the university has failed us.
You know, I think anyone, man, woman, or child, a person who finds their voice is powerful, who owns their voice and owns that truth and is unafraid. But we're not a society that allows for those kind of voices. We say we do, but the truth is we want everyone to fall in and agree.
You know, those protests went on for the whole night. Yeah, I'm a police afika, they can't do anything if I'm a statements I get call. I'm a statements even internally at school, and there were statements that were open. I'm a case it's a pelela no way. Whereas this was a first of its kind in a long time, even at Rhodes, where it's a rape culture protest, women are leading it, and we shut down the institution. So we had a set of demands drafted. We wanted certain proctors who dealt with the cases at school, and they must step down because there's just conflict of interest. Case reported lecturer as a who are part of the law department. It just doesn't make sense, because obviously they're going to do everything that they can in their powers to protect the image of the school, right? Those one of the demands. Other demands is that they must set up, they must set up a task team that is going to look into the policies that exist at the university that deal with sexual violence and make them more responsive to the issue.
We live in a very troubled world, and South South Africa is more troubled than most, even 22 years later. You know, the government keeps talking about all these women in power. But the question is, what have these women actually done?
Mara hile ku endleni ka matshalatshala the inroads leti ti nga kona hambi parliament sweswi na vona va mani lava nga ti-minister.
I think there's something wrong with a country that measures the well-being of its women by the number of women in parliament. I think the worst scandal is, you know, the Minister of Women, Children and Youth.
If the Ministry of Women has no programs that we can be able to say, look, we are here, you can use us, then we are heading the wrong direction. And why do we even have a Ministry of Women if we are not going to be going after projects that are important to women?
The basic rights of women have not improved.
Hina vana va mani lava nga ti-judge, hina vana va mani lava fambisaka ti-aeroplane. Hi leswi kombaka leswaku hina va mani a hi yeni mahlweni nga tlheleli ndzhaku hi lwela leswi nga swa hina. A hi nga swi kumi hi siku rin'we, but we shall eventually get there.
Freedom is not free. Freedom is not free.
I believe in creating a black economy, and I am working towards that. So even the business here, it's about that. It's about making sure we make sure with our creatives, by united together, and they create an economy for themselves that not only is sustainable for my business as well, but also is sustainable for generations to come, you know.
Vitana mina wendi wa Kasipavela ni tshama Nkonkowa ni murimi epurasini ra le kaya ku nga Xirundzu Trading and Projects. Hi rima swifaki, ti-butternut, matamatisi, ti-beetroot na makhavechi. Hi rima hi ku ya hi mpfumelo wa season. Okay guys, now I'm getting ready to go to the farm. I just need to grab a few snacks. So boho ku loko u kha u rima u fanele u dya. Loko phela ku rima swi teka matimba ya wena yo tala. Se sweswi hi ta va hi teka ndlela yo ya epurasini. Purasi ri site rin'wana ku hala Letsitele va Raba Valley. A hi le kule ngopfu na la vo ma 30 something k's. Usually I'd go with my grandfather if he's around, just so he can assist me with assessments and give me further clarity on what we need to improve on the farm. Because he's my mentor actually. Yeah. I took the decision to pursue farming loko ntava ni ri ka process ya ku heta degree ya me at Joni ya University of Johannesburg na qualification ya BA in journalism. Ni vone ku nga va na opportunity ya ku antswisa xiyimo akaya na ku ti improve as wansati na ku improve xiyimo xa purasi leri. Ku axilo purasi leri a ri ro tshama ri nga ri na vurimi a ku nga ri na nchumu lexa xumelela. Se ku va ni tikuma ni tela a ku tava ku pfuxa purasi ku ri endla ku ri tirha so we can create employment hi tlhe hi vuyisela futhi ka community. So the only challenges that are present, it's just to break through the market and be global certified and to be able to supply as much as I possibly can to the market depending on what I produce on my farm.
The mining industry basically has always been around me, you know, in that my husband was studying geology. Now I did industrial psychology at WITS. And so I was used to being around him when, you know, he's working or anything like that. But when we got married, I was running a recruitment company. I've always been, you know, entrepreneurial. So I've ran my own recruitment company before going into mining. But then I realized that in the mining industry, you're dealing with relationship building. And it's an industry that's been there for many, many years. So therefore, the service providers that are there and have been there over the years are a certain color, you know. And now you have to break through that barrier because If you're a service provider, you have a relationship with the person who's getting the service from you. Now, for me to have that same relationship, it's harder because now I have to build a relationship with Pete or Johan, you know, where Pete would rather really have a relationship with another Johan or another, you know, white male, you know, that they meet with, whether it's a braai or whatever, because that's what networking is about. So I don't meet them at the same places. So that's the main barrier to entry, if I can put it that way. That's the main challenge, you know, that your relationships are not with the people who sign the dotted, you know, line and say, this is who I will assign, you know, to be my service provider.
Thank you. You're all welcome to the National Union of Mine Workers offices. Feel free. Whatever you say today, you must know that it's not about you, it's about our country.
Ngesikhathi ngifika mina at the working place la ngisebenza khona ngafika kungenabo mama, and then I'm 13 years working at underground. So we met so many challenges because amadoda, they were not used to us. Baba mangele ukuthi yini lesibonayo. Abo mama, are they going to be able to work underground? Babona ukuthi asina potential ezabo mama ukuthi singasebenza khona. So they would say, because you said you can come and work as a man, just do it.
It is our right as women to claim our space. That teamwork, as they were doing it before, must be continued.
It's almost as if just because I'm a woman, I almost have to always prove myself. I come from the motor industry, and it's obviously an industry that has always been known as predominantly male-dominated. There is still that notion in society that males will know better about cars than women. You must stay in admin, but senior management positions, men. Technical issues, men.
So my industry is very different from these very formal industries. And I say formal because it's not even acknowledged as of official work. I'm an actor, a director, and a writer. If we look at the theaters in this country, whether we're talking about the state, from to the market, to all the theaters in this country, the artistic directors are men.
And you know, the other main thing that we faced with as women is in the workplaces is an issue of sexual harassment. You will have to find yourself explaining yourself to say, if I say I was sexually harassed, how were you sexually harassed? And a man will be saying, then if I'm not happy with it, I don't want it. If you're doing it to her, don't expect that I will also be acceptable to that.
How do we define sexual harassment? Does it have to be a question of somebody touched me? Or is it perceived? I think sexual harassment is perceived. If you look at me and you see meat, or you look at me and you see some kind of sexual object, that is sexual harassment. And I think it's up to us as women to say, it doesn't have to go to a point where I go to the police station and I lodge a claim, a charge, to say that somebody has assaulted me. By you looking at me as if, you know how men can look at you,
like they are inside.
Now I would like to raise the challenges that face in the mining industry. For instance, PPE. Yes, we have, NUM has done great in creating a PPE memorandum for mining, but companies are reluctant to implement this PPE so that women can be comfortable working in the mines.
We've got so many challenges underground. I think the big challenge it's the environment. It's not that hygienic in terms of us, more especially when the toilets that we are using underground. Some of the toilets that we are using underground they are not flushable.
I think the challenge is actually cut across all industries. I mean, I'm speaking as a pastor, where you find men still looking at you as the weaker vessel. You cannot preach like us. And another thing is that they always look at me as, oh, umamfundis. And I'm like, no, I'm not umamfundis. I am a pastor in my own right. I run a ministry.
I think this is something that goes back beyond today. I mean, that's how Winnie Mandela was erased. She had to be Mandela's wife, and that's how we know her. Unfortunately, I also work for a hydraulics company. I do communications, but I've seen how PPE is a problem in that industry. When you're pregnant, they do not design specialized PPE for women to wear. I feel like also our leadership who are women in those positions are also failing us as women because they're not addressing the issues and we're not progressing as much as we would like to.
You find yourself being qualified and having an experience in a particular job. But because of such, you will find yourself being underpaid.
The big challenge that we are facing, it's us women. We don't support each other, we gossip, we don't like each other, we treat each other differently.
If I happen to be a manager or be promoted, there will be talks like, oh, how did she get there? We must accept that all work is possible for everybody, as long as you are able to work and do that. And we do not need favors.
Whether be it we are in motor industry, we in insurance, or even in the church, the problems are still the same. Because if you're in leadership, first things are, oh, okay, are you married? Does it mean when I'm single I cannot lead?
We're facing the same challenges. Are we still going to sit like this 10 years from now discussing the same issues? When are we going to get to a point where we've understood what the issues are? Sexual harassment, we are being discriminated, we are not as powerful. Like, okay, umuntu wesifazana wenza lokhu, umuntu wesilisa wenza lokhu. When are we going to get to a point where we have gathered all the challenges that women are facing and we find a solution?
Freedom is not free. Freedom is not free.
I think, in terms of the future, I don't think that we can define who we are as a society unless we do something about poverty. Poverty is greater now than it was during apartheid days. More people are living below the poverty line. And the people who are the most vulnerable are women. I mean, I think it's a frightening statistic, but 60% of households in South Africa are headed by single women.
I think the challenge that I want to give to us ladies, women, is that can we have a mind to open opportunities for everybody? Because we all know that if you empower a woman, you literally empower a whole community. It's not just about them. At the end of the day, there's a whole family they go back to and that they take care of.
I think the Rainbow Nation is, we were sold a dream and we bought into it. And I think a lot of people in the country don't appreciate actually the humanity about Babats, that we could transition as peacefully as we did, for instance. It upsets me that the whole idea of aspiration is white. It's a colonized concept because what we aspire to is whiteness. We're aspiring to live in Stanton. We're aspiring to drive a certain car. You don't say, oh, I'm aspiring Kujula go Soweto or whatever. It's still about trying to be accepted into whiteness. And the fact that whiteness is so pervasive in a country like ours, still after 24 years, is a problem.
If we can have an abundance mentality, I think everybody would have enough. With the opportunities that I have, I've been able to take care of my family. We have what we need. If I get more rich, it should be for the good of many more people to be able to benefit from that. So that, I think, is an abundance mentality, to say, I have enough for me. Now, how can I share this so that more people have what I have? And when I look at our country, sadly, you have a select few who have and some people who don't have, mainly because I want to keep what I have.
in us trying to find a solution as women, it's important that we recognize that we all need love, love for self and love for others. I embrace the fact that I'm a woman, and I love the fact that I'm a woman. If I come to a dealership or a male-dominated industry and I'm expected to be macho and expected to show my power, I will embrace the fact that my power is internal and I am feminine, and that is my power. The fact that I've got maternal instincts, that is my power. The fact that I'm more empathetic than the next, that is my power. And I don't have to then dispute or contest, to show physical power. I don't have to. That is my strength in leadership.
And even with roles of acting roles, the plays are written by men, so even the role of the female in there is going to be something else. It's going to represent something else, and that's why nowadays so many more female actors and writers and directors are creating their own work, because if I'm going to be cast in a play that is going to just reinforce patriarchal norms, nothing is going to change, and my voice as a woman is going to be sunk in.
And I think as women, we still have a long way to go. It might be how many years of freedom, we are not free. And it's sad for us to be thinking that, no, because we are voter, then we sharp.
We, as women in money, we are competing for the same positions of work with men. But you look, for instance, there'll be a post that is posted there for a leadership, for whatever leadership that is there. And the opportunity, obviously, it will be 5 people that are wanted to for this development. Out of that 5 positions,
Patriarchy has been around for so long that it will take us even more longer to dismantle it. But when we start pointing at each other and saying, no, this woman wants in leadership, we forget that this is the system that makes us do this. I don't want to hate you, but if they say, she's an actor, I'm an actor, there's only one female role, what do you expect? They're putting us as competition towards each other. That's why we will bite each other. But you must remember that this is the system that drives us to do this, and stop pointing at each other and understand that we are all victims in this thing.
It's a racial issue more than the skills that we have, what we possess, and what we deliver. It wouldn't make sense for us to be delivering the same work, same occupation, but we're still not getting paid the same way. So issues that we have to change that.
Mostly when we fight, we will be fighting about whites earning more than blacks. And we brush away the male and female part to say as much as whites are earning more than us as blacks, what about this other part that we are shying away from?
Wonke umama uyinkokheli. Uma ukwazi ukhulisa ingane from a babyhood up until abe yindoda noma abe ngumfazi. Ungazenyisi.
We're trying to collaborate. It's happening because we are trying to take control of our voice and to say, wait a minute, I'm gonna write a play that represents women in a particular way, and this is how I want to be seen and affect the world.
Abo mama kwabanga 1956. Bebengena lutho, bebengena ama tools. Sinama tools. Ama pieces of legislations is now. But we are lazy. Ukuthi sifunde. You can prosper only if you tell yourself, no man can stand behind you. No man. But when you need to tell yourself, I can do it. And no one else.
Freedom is not free. Freedom is not free.
The Constitution promises many things that we've not managed to deliver on. Justice for all, housing and medical care, and freedom for all. The vote is not about freedom. Freedom is about actually being able to earn your living in the land of your birth.
As one side, logo la bagwa free, now we're the empower. so that when you go fight for whatever you're fighting for, you know what you're talking about. It's pointless. So let's be knowledgeable. Let's interact with the people in the industry. Let's forget you're a male and I'm female and I feel inferior because of that. Put that aside so you can learn.
The challenges are still there. The reality is we're still fighting for recognition. We're still fighting to be seen. We're still fighting to be respected. The government doesn't care about us, like women, for instance. The ANC Women's League are not here for women. They're not a feminist organization. They're a political organization who are there for themselves and for power. And so I think, look, it's up to us to grab that power and to fight for it. But it's going to be a very long time before I'm just Pearl Boshamani Tsotet. It's going to be maybe not even in my lifetime, but I hope that in my daughter's lifetime, she'll get to be just herself, rather than, you know, we still have a thing where it's the first black this or the first female this.
For me, although na rongongo, mara kuchinja na kubona because compared to ngarlo ngasungula kutira wo kufikela sweswi la ngako kuchinja kuko, and I still hope and believe kuchinja kutava ko.
I don't think we're going anywhere. You know, I believe you can put all laws down and constitution and Bill of Rights, but if people are not healed, then it's pointless. We need to find a way to heal abantu abamnyama nabelungu. In fact, wonke umuntu walapha eMzantsi Africa, we need to heal. We are very hurt. All of us are hurt. We've all got issues and baggage and anger. Zininzi izinto zalapha eMzantsi Africa. So we can write constitutions that give people access, that open up doors.
We have so many things facing our country. You know, until we can put the economic issues right, until our youth stop feeling so disinvested, until we are able to provide employment and decent homes, I'm not talking about RDP homes, where people feel like human beings, we won't be able to talk about human rights. We will be talking about women's rights for a long time.
I do believe that women are free in South Africa to take on the leadership. But those that are in leadership are not taking the baton and playing a part with it, you know? They're not doing that much for black women, actually, you know? We've got so many women sitting in parliament. They don't rephrase back and come back and say, okay, fine, amantombazane sekasi, yini into nidingayo, yini into singayiletha for nina ukuthi ni succeed and nibe successful.
As a lot of people in power like to say, these things take time, and I think it's time that they stop taking so long. And the only way they can stop taking so long is if we fight for it. If, as a woman, I fight to be treated equally, I fight to be paid what I'm worth, I fight to be treated how I deserve to be treated, I fight for respect. And not just because, you know, oh, I'm in charge, I need to automatically be respected, but be respected as a woman, be respected as a human being, and not to be constantly undermined.
Munhu un'wana una sweswi nxoko loko mo ya ka wansati u fika u n'wi vutisa timhaka ta construction u ta ku byela ku mehe a ni la ku mbala tibutsa or a ni la ku tshama nchakini ni la ku tshama ofisini. And just to add on to that, office nkarhi wun'wana a yi na mali, nkarhi wun'wana u fanele u kuma kwale thakeni hi kona la u kumaka ku vutomi bya wena bya cinca bya hanyeka.
I think once a government, a certain person in authority, a public figure that we look up to actually says, you know, I'm taking a stance towards gender-based violence, that's how we can also curb. That's when policies can also be created where if a woman does feel threatened and she is, you know, violated, she can go to the police station. The police station, you're not going to come across an officer who's going to ask you all these 100 questions that are not related to the issue at hand. You know, I'm here to report a case and that's it. Don't make a woman feel less safe than she already is. And that time you're supposed to be protecting her. So, you know, I think that's where we should be moving towards as a country. Our leaders in society need to be making those stances. Our religious leaders, our traditional leaders.
The fight is not over. You know, with our vote, the fight was not over. We thought it was, but it isn't. And so, while our Constitution is wonderful, it's one of the most groundbreaking, far-reaching, all-encompassing, human-centered constitutions in the world, it's a piece of paper. only people who give it life and value are South Africans and our politicians and our governments.
Well, it all depends on freedom. Ka wena free you want sakuyin. Ban bambiringa lang tashlo shimwe sweswo. If I ask this one, want sakuyin lo tabula sunganyan. But freedom is there, but we are not yet free. Because when we are free, if I know over freedom, ka hinkwaso leswo.
We need to also stop objectifying women. Even the work of in the workplaces, you know, women are not tea ladies. A man can also be a tea man, you know. Those positions should not just be left to when you job hunting, but you're looking for a receptionist female, age 21 to 35. You know, why aren't we just looking for a receptionist who'll be at the front of house, who can be a man or a woman, who can be queer, you know, who can be gay, who can be trans.
Politically, or can say we are free in a way. Economically, definitely we're not free. Health-wise, hinkwaswo leswiya swi lava hina hi tshama hansi hi swi lwela a hi fikanga makumu. We are just a very young democracy. Se hi fane hi ya mahlweni hi vona ku vana va hina, for instance, va va free. Hi nge vuli ku nthunxeko hi wu kumile until hi fika la vana va hina va kumaka mintirho, vamhani va hina va nga ha abusiwi na vana va nga abusiwi, va hakeriwa ku fana mintirho leyi va endlaka yona, va tshama kaya vona va tsakile hi ku hi nga ta ku impela hina freedom ya hina.
We do have the freedom. Let's stop saying we're waiting for the freedom. Let's stop waiting for someone to come and sign a letter. Okay, fine, abafazi manje ningahamba niyophatha siphethe siyaphatha emakhaya siyaphatha, I mean sikhulisa abantwana, you know. So if we can do that, we can definitely raise a good nation. We just need to also be level-headed and stop being slay queens and so yeah, we can actually lead if we want to.
Freedom is not free. No, freedom is not free. It carries a certain amount of responsibility. Freedom wants us to say, I'm not gonna take this lying down, you know, and say, no, I have to get up and go and plant the seed. And then the seed will take time to grow. And then I have to cut down that, you know, korong eo, kiye kilo isila, kiye kilo ibeka, add whatever I need to add. So it's work. Freedom is work.